she's pulling at it, and she rips the pin pad machine off of its holder and pulls it with her. All right, let's get into this. So hello and welcome to or back to my channel if you've been here before. If you haven't, my name's Jenna. For everybody who maybe watches my videos periodically, hasn't been here, but sorry, my phone is going off. Let me turn the sound off. That's just rude. Today we are going to do a story time. So I've got a wine glass full of cider because it is Thanksgiving here in Canada today as I'm filming this. Hopefully I have this up tomorrow. So I thought that there was no better way to celebrate this socially distancing Thanksgiving that's a little bit different than usual than by sipping on some cider in a wine glass and telling you guys some crazy work stories. This is my first time filming a story time video, so hopefully it's okay. This could really go any way right now, and I'm completely aware of that. But let's hope it's on the good side. Now, I do want to clear up that I don't usually mix wine and alcohol. This is solely for the purpose of this video that we're drinking. But I also want to say that I think drinking some cheap cider out of an iridescent wine glass that I bought at Marshall's really goes with the vibe of this video, if I do say so myself. So before we get into this video, I just wanted to say that I'm super thankful this Thanksgiving to have a job. I know that a lot of people in Canada as well as the US are having a lot of issues with keeping a job in this crazy time. If you have not been here to my channel before, I make a lot of lifestyle videos, but I also make a lot of Disney videos. And I often vlog. I was supposed to work at Disney this summer. That was unfortunately canceled due to COVID. You can see my love for Disney is plain right here for you guys to see. So I just wanted to take a second and bring to your attention the fact that Disney recently laid off 28,000 cast members. So at this time, I know everybody needs some help, but I just wanted to bring to your attention the cast member Pantry. I will leave a link down below if you want to check it out for yourself. It's definitely a way to support cast members at this time and potentially do our part to thank those cast members that have done a lot for everyone around the world. Okay, now I want to get into like the fun brunt of this video. Is that the right word? I don't think so. I'm obviously too sober for words to come up properly. But basically, I have a list of some like one word stories to talk to you guys about. I did want to say I am not going to bring up any names of coworkers, so I will, if I need to give a name, I will give like fake names. I think many of you, if you go back to my old videos, you know where I have worked and where I currently work, which is probably bad. I probably shouldn't put that on the internet, but here we are. So yeah, basically I used to work in food service and I currently work in retail. So a lot of these stories I know are going to be like things you've heard before, but they're just my take, and I think a lot of them are really funny and kind of like go-to stories for me when I'm talking to friends and stuff. Alright, so the first one actually happened recently. So it was at my retail location, and basically something people do when they want to shoplift often is that they'll ask for bags from like a certain store or like go to other stores and say that their bag's broken, which definitely if your bag's actually broken, like obviously we're gonna help you. But often like if someone before they're shopping they don't have anything, ask for a shopping bag, like that's really suspicious, especially from a teenager. Not to say that like teenagers are all bad or like suspicious, just like in this context, you know. So we had this one girl come into my store, and at the time I was like at a table folding pants in the men's section, and like I was in like the second room of my store, so you had to get kind of like far into my store. My store is pretty big, like 3 times the size of a regular one. So we have a really large location for what we are. And I was in the second room folding some pants. I was completely available for anybody if they needed help. And also, like, this woman would have had to have passed multiple of my coworkers to get to like the point in the store where we were. And lo and behold, she decided to call on this kid. Let's just call him like Jim. So Jim is in high school still. There's like a running joke about how he can get like all the girls to swoon, and girls tend to like him and ask him questions. So Jim was only like 2 meters from me, which is important because it was during COVID time and like socially distanced people. But he was only like a couple meters away from me. We just finished talking about something, and this girl comes up to him, completely walks past me. He's further into the store than I am, but 2 meters away. And she could have come and talked to me, but she didn't. She chose to go to talk to him. And she, like, I can hear this. He's only 2 meters away from me. And she goes up to him and is like, "Hi, can I have a plastic bag?" And he's like, "No, sorry, like, I can't do that for you." And she's like, "No, you don't understand. Like, I really need this bag." And he was like, "No," and straight up, like, is like, "Sorry, that's, like, a little suspicious. I can't give you a bag. You can buy something and you'll get one with your purchase, but I can't give you a plastic bag." And she was just like kind of like flirting with him the whole time. It was just like really funny. I was like, "What?" Like, okay, like he said no. And then she's just like, "I need it for my bra." Looks him in the eye and says that she needs it for her bra. And she's also probably like, I'm 20, so she couldn't have been older than me, probably in high school, maybe 20, but not that old. And like, this kid's in high school still. He obviously didn't know what to do. He was flustered. So it just like kind of like went off. I laughed about it, and like he came over and like talked about it with me for like a few seconds. And then we hear over our headset, like she asked someone else for a bag for her bra. And in the end, she had taken off her bra and was walking around the store. We don't sell bras. There was no reason for you not to be wearing your bra. We also are in an outdoor mall, so like, but she had her bra in her hand and she had taken off her bra and was asking for a bag to put her bra in. But she also had a purse. So like, it was really weird. I know other people might, like, in the comments might be like, that's not a weird story, but like, it was weird in the moment. If you had to be there, maybe. But it was really weird. Oh, okay. So this next story is also at the same retail establishment, and also since COVID, so like since we reopened for COVID. So right now we have like a policy where we wipe down all the counters during cash. This particular shift I was working cash, so I'm at the cash wrap and I call over a family. We do have a cash register if you're shorter or in a wheelchair that we can go over to and help you out. But I didn't need to go over to that cash at this point because there was no reason to. It was like a mom and 2 daughters. They came up and were ready to pay and everything. And I scanned them through, put in their loyalty information. We were all ready to go. Gave them the total for the transaction. And the woman looks at me and is like, "Does your machine take tap?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but some banks like cut it off at $100. It really depends," which is completely true. Some banks are $250, some are $350. I had someone tap an American Express the other day for $650. Like, I know other stores cap it, like Hot Topic does like $50 is all you can tap. My store doesn't do that. It depends on your bank, the plan you have, like you can set your own restrictions, things like that. But this woman's like, "Okay, I hope I can believe you." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Obviously I was nice to her. Like, I've worked customer service for a very long time, and like, I would like to say that I'm good at my job. But she goes to tap the card and it fails. And she just looks at me and she's like, "So how am I supposed to pay?" And I was like, "Oh, the machine is wiped down." That's why I said like we have a policy to like wipe things down. Due to COVID, and I was like, so I assume that's her issue, is that she didn't want to like put in her PIN and touch everything, which I totally get, neither do I. Like, I hate it. I'm like using hand sanitizer before I do anything, especially at gas stations or pin pads, because like those are high touch areas. And I was like, I have thoroughly wiped it down, and I do, like, I wipe down the pin pad. I even like wipe down the sides, like everything that we possibly can wipe down, I do, and all the other cashiers at my store do. So I assured her that like I've personally cleaned it between each person, and like it's good to go if you want to do that. Or I can break up your tap, which is something my store does, and you can tap multiple times. So we try that first, and it still doesn't work, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, but your card is just not tapping. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I know my card personally has a tap limit. I can only tap a certain amount and a certain number of times before I have to put in my pin again. So she just kind of is like getting agitated, I could tell, and I'm trying to be super nice, and I'm like, do you have another form of payment? She's like, no, this is the only way. And that's when like the grandmother, I guess, from this group starts coming up, but doesn't come all the way over. Like comes and is like a couple feet away, but far enough that like you'd have to walk over to her to talk to her. I see the woman like look out for the grandmother and is like, your card's not working. And that's when it clicks in my head. I'm like, oh, this is not the woman's card, this is someone else's card. Again, totally fine, but that's probably why she didn't want to didn't need to tap. And I thought like normal thing to do would just be like to go over, ask her for the PIN number and stuff, right? Well, apparently that was too hard of a concept for this woman, and she like is all agitated, right? Like I previously said, and it's like acting irrationally. As she's saying these words, she puts her hands on both sides of the pin pad, looks me in the eye, and as she's saying, does this come off? She's pulling at it, and she rips the pin pad machine off of its holder and pulls it with her. And she walks away with it to the grandmother that is a couple feet away. And she holds up the pin pad and says, you do it, to the grandmother. Let me tell you, that was a little bit awkward, and like I didn't know what to do. I kind of like froze. I was like, first of all, she didn't let me answer, and I would have said no, and like we could have like, I just didn't know what to do. And so like we just finished the payment. She didn't even put it back on like the pin pad holder. She like, because like we have mounted ones on like a stick, and they're like the big fancy ones with like the big touch screen on them. When she finishes the transaction, like I'm just still standing there. I'm like, okay, don't know what to do. And she just puts the pin pad lightly on the counter and just looks at me, and she's like, okay, where's my receipt? And I was like, you can just like grab it from the side there. We're just like asking you to grab it yourself right now, so no one else has touched it and it's the cleanest possible for you. My normal little like rant, and she's like, okay, and walks out the door, and I'm just still standing there like, what just happened? So I go for my headset. I'm like, I don't know what to do. A woman just ripped the pin pad off. Can I have some help? And my manager, who was working at that time, comes over, and she's like, what do you mean she ripped it off? And then she can see like the scene, like a screw had physically like come out of the machine, and it took us 20 minutes to get it back on to the holder. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. Nothing like that had happened ever in the store. So to the next story. Okay, I think this is gonna be the last story for this story time. If you guys want more crazy work stories, let me know, and I will definitely make some more. I guess we'll just continue with my crazy retail stories. So this last one happened in, I guess, February of this year. Wow, a lot has happened. 2020. Who would have guessed? So it happened in February. I had just come back from holiday, and it was like one of my first or second shifts back to work after my vacation. And I had acrylic nails on that I had gotten done for my trip. They'd only been on for like 2 weeks, so they weren't that grown out, but they were obviously like somewhat grown out. And I was helping this woman at the cash register. We're having like a good banter, and she brings up her stuff. It happened to be like that there was 3 items that had a hanger. And I've worked cash for a long time, and so I'm like really good, especially like Black Friday, you like really have to be quick. So I know what I'm doing, and we're talking, and I grab her hangers. And usually what I do is like a group of hangers. I hold them all together with like the hanger part coming out here, and then like it has this part, and I'll put my fingers through their shirts and pull them all at once and pull all the hangers out, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that, and I guess I'm doing it I'm going to do that. My hands like this. Again, I have acrylic nails on all this. My pinky was apparently in just the right spot that she grabbed where I was grabbing here and was like, here, let me help you, and pulled them all. My pinky got stuck in that little like divot thing of a hanger. I don't even have hangers like that in my room, so I can't even show you. So my finger got stuck in there, and honestly, something bad would happen if I had acrylics or if I didn't have acrylics. And my finger got stuck, and she continued to pull, and the only way for my finger to come out was to go sideways. And as it goes sideways, like it cut off circulation like about to this point on my finger. I'll have pictures that I'll show in a second. I'll give a warning in case you don't want to see them, because it was definitely gruesome. But it went to like this point, completely cut off my circulation. I had like a purple finger for I think like 2-3 weeks after that, because it was just so bruised and like so sore. I couldn't like do anything with it for a very long time. But since I had acrylics, I had extensions on naturally because I had acrylics. So as it was coming out, it also hooked on the acrylic, and she was pulling, and like so my finger went sideways because that was the only way that it could come out. It's hard to say because like it happened in a span of like 2 seconds. I guess it went sideways and it hooked onto my acrylic and pulled. My acrylics were on tight, like they weren't going anywhere. It would have been better if it just like popped off. I still had the circulation issue, but instead it pulled my entire natural nail off the nail bed. Didn't rip or anything, like it just pulled off, and it was broken like off all the way down to my cuticle. So even where the little grow out was, like my nail was off. It was completely off. Thankfully it didn't rip down the sides or anything, so I still had my nail. And honestly, because of the acrylic, I was told that like if that wasn't there, or if I had tried to take it off, it would have actually, like that ended up being like a spine for the outgrowth, and it could have been much worse. But yeah, a customer ripped off my nail, so that's always fun. Editing me here right now, I forgot to mention that she noticed what happened. Obviously, I couldn't really hide it. I was trying to be as professional as possible, but it hurt right away, and I was trying to be nice. And while I was like folding the clothing, my pinky was like out because it was in so much pain. I was just like smiling through it, and she first warned me not to get blood on her clothing because it was bleeding almost everywhere. I didn't get any blood on her stuff, and when she left, very unapologetically, she told me that I should get that checked out. So yeah. Gore warning, I'll put the timestamp right here to click to if you don't want to see this, but it's coming in 1, 2, 3. Here is the picture of my finger. So that's what it looked like. It was really sore. As I said, I couldn't do anything from it. If you go back into older videos from around the February-March time period, and I think also like my haul that I might have posted a couple, like 2 months ago, you can see a band-aid wrapped around my finger. That's why I had to keep a band-aid on it basically the whole time to push it down to keep the nail there. It looks really grody right now. This is my nail now. It's been like 6 months, but like it's growing really slowly. But it's finally like reached a point where it's like grown out. So all my other ones look nice. It's just this one. So like that's pretty great. So yeah, that's this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I actually really enjoy telling these stories. It's like talking to like an old friend or something. So if you want any more story times, let me know in the comments down below, because I definitely want to make some for you guys. I told crazy negative ones in this story time, but I can definitely make more with some like ones that were crazy good, because I've definitely had one of those. Like the time I got a $30 tip when I worked at McDonald's that someone just like left on a table with a note for me. Can tell that story, or like other good work stories of where I got to make some magic in any of my positions. And definitely I can tell some more crazy stories from like my food service days, like someone who stalked one of my coworkers. the man who threw garbage at our drive-thru, or the man who threw a drink at one of my coworkers on Canada Day. Whole bunch of stories that I could tell, so let me know down below if you guys want to hear any of those. And definitely click subscribe. We are growing this channel and it is growing fast. We're at 229 subscribers when this video is coming out, and I am so thankful. I don't want to make this too much longer, and I do want to go continue drinking this with my mom and dad. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!